You're Mona Lisa, I'm Da Vinci. The smile on your face is all that I need. You could be...
Thanks for tuning in. I'm Emily Rundle, your host.
I'm Marissa, your co-host.
And today we'll be talking about the Renaissance. First, we're going to start with Michelangelo. He was an artist and a sculptor. He sculpted the Pieta, which is a sculpture of Mary holding her son, Jesus, after his death. The statue of David, which represents the human form suppressed by the church, and he painted the ceiling of the Sistine Chapel, which shows sweeping scenes of the Old Testament from the Bible. He was one of the greatest Renaissance artists ever. The Pieta was made during 1498 to the 1500s. The statue of David was made in 1501 to 1504, and the chapel was painted in 1508 to 1512. The chapel is in the Vatican, which shows the Last Judgment in the picture. The Pieta is shown in St. Peter's Basilica in the Vatican City, and the David statue is in Florence. Next is Leonardo da Vinci. He was an artist, a writer, an inventor, and an engineer. He painted the Last Supper and the Mona Lisa. He painted the Last Supper for the Dominican monastery for the Duke of Milan in 1495 to 1498. His Last Supper painting now hangs in the St. Marie delle Grazie in Milan. This painting shows when Jesus announces one of them will betray him.
I was Da Vinci, you'd be Mona Lisa, paint a smile perfectly on you.
Mona Lisa was painted in 1503 to 1507 in a wooden panel while in Florence, Italy. He was born in Vinci, but moved to Florence when he was 15. He was apprenticed to Verrocchio, and he is most famous for his Mona Lisa painting, which now hangs in Paris, France. The last is Raphael. He was an Italian painter and an architect of the High Renaissance. He was born in Urbino, Italy, and died in Rome, Italy. His nickname is the Prince of Painters. He was employed by Pope Julius II to complete the fresco decoration for a number of rooms in the Vatican. In 1504, he became Perugino's apprentice. He lived in Florence from 1504 to 1507 and began painting a series of Madonnas. When in Rome from 1509 to 1511, he painted the Stanza della Signatura, aka the Room of the Signatura, which is located in the Palace of the Vatican. He completed his last work in the series of his Madonnas, which was an oil painting called the Sistine Madonna. And now to Marissa.
Thanks, Em. So now we're going to talk about William Shakespeare. He was a playwright poet. He was born on April 23rd, 1564, and died April 23rd, 1616. Place of birth and death was Stratford upon Avon, United Kingdom, and his nickname was Swan of Avon. He was an important member of the Lord Chamberlain's Men Company of the theatrical players, and he wrote plays that capture the complete range of human emotion and conflict. His most known work is Romeo and Juliet, which is one of my favorites, of course. It was romantic and sad at the same time, but you know.
Sir Thomas More wrote Utopia, which was a work of fiction and political philosophy. It primarily depicts a fictional island society and its religious, social, and political entities. Back to you, Marissa.
Thanks, Taylor. Now on to the Protestant Reformation. It was in 1517 major 16th European movement, aimed initially at reforming the beliefs and practices of the Roman Catholic Church. The prominent figures were Martin Luther, Heldrich Zwingli, John Calvin, John Knox, and Henry VIII. The precursors were John Wycliffe and John Huss. Okay, and now on to Mary Coleman with more information on the Protestant Reformation.
Thanks, Marissa. Now for more information about the main prominent figures from the Protestant Reformation. The first one I'm going to talk about is Henry VIII. He was mainly known in the Protestant Reformation for establishing an independent national Anglican church. He had 6 wives, 1 died, 2 were divorced, 2 were beheaded, and only 1 survived. 3 of them gave him children. The first one was Catherine of Aragon. This is the ring for Catherine, and she gave him Mary. Second wife was Anne, and she gave him Elizabeth I. The third wife was Jane, and she gave him his only son, Edward. Now for John Calvin. He was a French theologian and reformer. He fled in religious persecution in France and settled in Geneva in 1536. He instituted a form of church government in Geneva, which has become known as the Presbyterian Church. Now about Martin Luther, who was the most important person in the Protestant Reformation. He wrote the 95 Theses, which he posted on the doors of the church in Latin. The 95 Theses denied that indulgences had any power to remit sin, and he was criticizing the power of the Pope. He declared that the head of the church is Jesus, and it was not the Pope.
Thanks, Mary. I'm your host, Emily Rundle.
And I'm the co-host, Marissa Budos.
Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you tomorrow.
I do it first!
Martin Luther, I think.
Stop laughing, Mary, because you're making me laugh. Shh. No, we can't use it, Taylor.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
Confusing. She's got arrows.
Thanks for tuning in. I'm Emily Rundle, your co-host. Your host.
Okay. Thanks, Marissa. Wait, what?
Thanks, Mary. Wait, do I say thanks, Mary? You're the last one.
Thanks, Marissa. Now for some of... Wait, what are they called? No.
Is that cheese? Just for the...
I'm not Wisconsin!
Yeah.
We should do... Oh!
It just says it's starting, right? With the record?
Yeah.
Wow. Get out of the picture. Okay. Is it still recording?
Yeah.
Turn it off.
I don't know how to.
Oh, no, this is Marissa.
I don't do that!
And take 7. Oh my Jesus!
Is that the high...
They're not sticking. Oh my Cheez-Its.
Plug it in, plug it in. Listen, stop taking a selfie of yourself.
Okay, son of a monkeys.
What am I supposed to say?
Really? Okay.
I'm your host, Emily Rundle. First up, we'll be talking about the artists of the Renaissance, starting with Michelangelo. He was an artist and a sculptor. Just sitting behind the chair.
I can see your butt. Get serious.
Oh! You almost hit my face!
I know, that was the point.
Kick it, take it, kick it! Not towards us!
I'm gonna throw my phone at you. Can we have Batman just sitting up like that?
Batman.
Okay,
No,
good.
no, 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 no.
Take 6! Action.
Here's a question.
Shh. I don't care. Throw the pen back at me because I threw
They
it at
took
you.
my gum.
The soccer ball is about to hit you.
Okay.
What was this part of?
This,
You were saying Mary.
Mary!
the sculpture of Mary holding her son. I got another tweet from Jay.
I got the sun!
I got the son.
Well, you only need the light when it's burning low. Only miss the sun when it starts to snow. Only know you love her when you let her go.